All right. Hello. Today we'll be meeting with Cheri Jacobs and we'll be asking a few questions about our creators of our great city. If you wanted to introduce yourself.
I'm Cheri Jacobs, and I'm an interior designer. I'm a faculty associate here at ASU, teaching interior design. And I also have 20 years experience as an interior designer, working for larger A&D firms. Currently, I do freelance work around the nation, actually, working remotely. So that's a little bit about my background.
Perfect. All right. I do have a couple questions. So the first question I wanted to ask was, what key life experience have formed you and who you are today?
Um, I would say that actually every experience, I think, forms us. And that, how we kind of, how we internalize that experience makes us who we are. As far as in my professional life, I think that the people that I've worked with have been major influencers on my life. And I've been very fortunate to work with people that have been supportive and, a very symbiotic relationship. So I guess really it's the relationships with people, and then a strong family and friend network. But I've been very fortunate professionally to be surrounded by good, caring individuals.
I always hear that it's about the connection and how interior design, and at least in Tempe, is very close and everyone knows everyone. So,
And actually, even because my background, I started out in New York City and moved to Florida and Atlanta and Chicago. I was there for about a decade. It's a small world,
yep,
and
that.
yeah. And I think all of those connections, I was in an elevator in New York once, and the door opened and there was a woman I knew from Florida,
That's awesome.
So it's, yeah. So it's a super small world and the connections are really important.
Awesome. So, how did you become passionate and involved in our city? Like, you've been all over the place. What brought you to Tempe?
What brought me to Tempe was my husband and I decided to move out here. He got a position at Arizona State, um, in the School of Human Evolution and Social Change. And so we moved from Chicago out to Tempe. And so that was really the driver for us to come out here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what are your core values and how are they reflected in your work?
I think that fundamentally, like at my core, is really wanting to kind of make the world a better place. And I think that it starts with a little, something little, whether it be just, smiling and asking someone, how are you doing,
Yes.
to, to, a major design problem and figuring that out and how that can impact the community in a positive way. So, so really it's really about, and it's hard. It seems like that's a lot of pressure, like make the world a better place. Um, but I think that's truly like at the core of who I am. So yeah.
And then, why is our city a great city?
Um, so I have a unique experience where even though I've been here for 8 years, I feel like a big part of me is in Chicago. A big part of me is out on the East Coast. I grew up in Florida. And I think that all of these places are similar and they're all very different. And they're all great cities. So I feel like Tempe and Phoenix, there's a lot of, um, you know, desire to make this community even better.
Right.
So there's so much potential and there's so much thought, you know, within the university and the community. So that does make it great. Um, and and I think that really what's so great is that there's this potential for
Right.
greatness.
Yeah, I heard
Um,
that Phoenix is like one of the most growing populations today or something like that. A lot of people are moving here. So that
yeah,
to me says that we must have a lot of building opportunities coming. So,
exactly, exactly.
all right. And then what cause and projects or activities were you involved in and why did you choose those?
I've always been involved in the interior design organizations, like ASID when I was a student, IIDA professionally, where I was on the board for IIDA, and specifically what I did was like the Phoenix City Center.
Mhm.
And I chose that position because it really was more about like how we could impact the community and give back to the community. So that's really like a big driver, like giving back to the community, and even like professionally, just independently organizing like a food drive, you know, and dropping it off at St. Vincent de Paul. So I think it goes from organizations and aligning yourself with an organization that is accessible to you, but also does things that you believe in. That's kind of what draws me to it personally.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, you taught me about how to redo the homeless shelter. So that was very impactful.
Yeah, yeah.
And then how do you collaborate with other groups and individuals to realize your impactful work?
Um, well, I think one of the first groups is students like yourself. I mean, um, it's definitely, I teach one studio class a semester, and I wanted to start teaching to really give back to like the future of design, and share my experiences. But then ultimately, you guys kind of shape what I think as well. So it's an interesting, it is truly interesting. But so I think first, you know, with students and with school is one of the things that I think is really interesting.
Awesome. That's like a perfect for our next question, which is what do you recommend I do to become a future creator of our great city?
um, I think that honestly it's, well, you're in the field of design,
Mhm.
and what you do professionally will impact our cities, but I honestly think that it comes from like just small little steps that impacts our city. I mean, like voting,
Right.
right, you know, that even people that aren't in architecture or design, that everyone can impact the city because we all make it up. So I would say starting with those small things like your right to vote, like making your voice heard, volunteering at different places, you know, going to volunteering your time at the soup kitchen or whatever, you know, is like those first small steps that are independent, that are yourself, you know.
So
And then,
passion.
yeah, exactly. And then I think professionally, like your next step, because you're graduating,
Yes.
is to find firms or individuals, professionals that have like something that you aspire to,
Mhm.
and align yourself with those firms, or try to, and you know, put yourself out there to get a job with someone that you feel a connection to.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing and giving me an
You're
inspiration
welcome.
to look forward to.
You're welcome.
Thank you.